The new channel. The new channel. Hashtag TNC Now.
The views, opinions, and insights expressed in the following shows are those of the host, producers, guests, and viewers. They do not necessarily reflect the position of the channel. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello and welcome to the new channel. Our passion transforms a community that sees all things new. I'm Nato Agbayani and I'm streaming live from Quezon City. Welcome to Para sa Bayan here on the new channel. Welcome back. You're still watching Para sa Bayan here on TNC. Tonight, our episode 22 of Season 2 is about getting ahead with green transport. And our guest tonight, of course, is no less than Yuri Sarmiento, CEO of Evolve. Yuri Sarmiento served as CEO of ejeepney Transport Corporation, where he pioneered electric vehicle technology in the Philippines as the first electric jeepney or public transport operator. After securing from LTFRB the first franchise in 2012 to operate a fleet of ejeepneys in Makati Green Route, Yuri established the Electric Vehicle Expansion Enterprises, Inc., or EVX, to start another jeepney fleet in Filinvest Alabang Loop in 2014 and in San Fernando, Pampanga, in 2019, making Yuri one of the biggest operators of electric vehicles or green transport in the Philippines. So without any further ado, let's welcome our good friend, Yuri Sarmiento.
Hi, good evening. Nato, and sa lahat ng nakikinig sa Para sa Bayan, magandang gabi sa inyong lahat.
Good evening, Yuri. Thank you for joining us in the show. Medyo we really have different episodes, no? I think for the first 2 weeks nag-start tayo with education. We had Henry Tenedero and of course Dr. Carl Balita kasi National Teachers Month eh. So pero ngayon we are now shifting again to ano ba yung mga bagay na pwede nating gamitin or tools to really get the country ahead, no? Para sa Bayan is really a public affairs show. It wants to educate the public kung ano ba yung mga what is ICT, how can we move forward with ICT. Ngayon naman, ito literally green transport. I have had the pleasure of getting the acquaintance of Congressman Edgar Sarmiento before, who is the chair of the Transport Committee in Congress, and ang daming plans, and I've heard of Evida. Pero before all that, no, Yuri, I just like to maybe ask you, I introduced you a while ago, but how did you start with this journey? I mean, did you automatically graduate from college and then ito na green transport ka na, or you were into other things before? Please tell us about your journey to the public the modern public utility vehicle and green transport system. Please.
Down memory lane, ano? Medyo matagal na dahil
Yes.
well, after graduating from college, I first worked as a reporter for Business World.
Oh. Oh,
So,
okay.
I was covering the finance and banking sectors back then.
Mhm.
And then I went into business, and from there, as a distributor of animal feeds in Pangasinan. And then from there, I went into a trucking business.
Tracking.
So, my
Mm.
trucking business, first introduction to transport, public transport.
Mhm.
It's basically public transport as well. It's also under LTFRB, but that was my first salvo in the transport industry.
Mhm.
And then nagsawa ako sa public transport because at that time, my contracts with the trucking with my clients were fixed, and yung price ng diesel was skyrocketing at the time. So even back then, the prices of oil has been bugging the entire industry back then.
Yes, yes.
So kahit naman ngayon, di ba? I mean, one of the biggest expenses of transport business is in fuel.
Fuel.
So even
Oo.
back then, naging problema ko yun. Kinakain yung profits namin sa trucking business, nalulugi. So I decided, ano ba magagawa natin? No? I mean, definitely there's a way to do things better. And so
Right.
I was introduced to an NGO called the Institute for Sustainable Cities, ICSC, and we worked together with Romel 1 of PHUV, and we
Mhm.
introduced the first electric jeepneys in 2010, and that was in the Makati ejeepney project. So yun ang unang salvo namin, ano? It basically started as an advocacy to promote clean air,
Yes.
green transport. Of course, at that time, we were talking about cleaning up the air. Pero as an operator, because I was the one in charge of operating the vehicles, nakikita ko yung sitwasyon sa ground, no? I cannot,
Okay.
I cannot continue teaching the drivers about clean air kung laging gutom.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
But
so, so aside from having a clean vehicles by introducing the electric jeepneys at the time, I also introduced the fixed salaries among jeepney drivers. Okay? So that was in 2010. So unheard of at back then na ang jeepney driver may fixed salary, may 13th month pay, may SS, pag-ibig, may PhilHealth, may
oh,
bonuses. So unheard of. And then we made a step forward pa. I hired women drivers. So
women drivers. Okay.
women drivers at that time, way back 2010, 2011. So, alam mo naman, ang transport is a macho business. So, lahat
Correct.
dapat yan macho. So, unheard of na may dumating na babae na pinakita lang namin, kaya na lalaki, kaya na babae. And in terms of the technology that we're using, the technology has become game changer. No, it equalizes the technology that we're using na hindi pa lalaki to, pwede rin to pa babae.
Oo.
So
Pero how did they
mm,
yeah. How did they take that? Yung kasi syempre parang alam mo naman mindsets are nakatuon dun sa magbibigay ako ng certain boundary kay operator. 'Di ba? Ganun yung sistema before, even sa buses, 'di ba? How
yes.
did they take it? How did the drivers take it?
Well, as I have always been telling the DOTR, no,
Mm.
when you modernize something, it's not about modernizing the vehicles or the infrastructure. Not hindi lang yon. When you say modernization, it also involves modernizing the mindsets. So yung thinking
Correct.
talaga, it took us a long time to change the mindsets. In fact, in Makati, no, sa ejeepney project namin, kami lang yata yung Egypt transport group, jeepney group, no, na nag-designate ng mga stops in Makati CBD. So hindi ka pwede bumaba in between stops. So,
Right.
nung in-institute namin ito, way back 2011, 2012, ang daming reklamo namin natanggap. Minumura ako sa cellphone. So kahit kay Mayor Junjun Binay at that time, nakakarating mga reklamo. So pinapatay ko ang cellphone ko dahil paano yung reklamo. But after 6 months, nawala na yung reklamo at nakita mo sumusunod na yung tao. So it's all about changing mindsets. Because alam namin that itong pag-designate ng mga stops is the right way to go.
Correct.
You just have to be, well, sabi nga, no, may political will ka, no? Pagdating
Mm.
sa ganyan. But for us, hindi namin sure at that time to tama ba ang ginagawa namin. Kasi sa dami na reklamo ang dami nagmumura sa akin. So hindi namin alam kung tama. But at the end of the day, you just have to stick to your guns. Tama o mali, ito yung decision mo, gawin mo na.
Parang unpopular at that time, no? Parang
Unpopular.
nagagalit talaga siya.
Pero kasi I mean, hindi naman usually ang jeepney sakay baba ka kahit anywhere
Anywhere, oo.
Pero kami
that towards the administration yata ni Junjun, no? Parang napansin ko yung enforcers na Makati were already designating stops. Tapos may certain number of seconds na pwede ka umakyat. And then there were also stops just to go down. Tapos meron yung parang pick up. So which is actually 'di ba? Parang if you teach the people how to do it, eventually sumusunod naman, 'di ba?
Puro lang reklamo sa umpisa, no? Tama ka kayo na, it's all about changing mindsets. So even during the drivers when we shifted from boundary system to fixed salary, marami ring mangal, no? Lilit daw ang kita nila. So nung nag-shift kami, secure na yung walang kita, nangungupit naman. So, kailangan mahabang paliwanag, yung mahaba yung pasyensya mo, at alam mo, as the operator of the vehicles, na ano bang objectives na gusto natin gawin. So, it's like when you build a nation, you cannot build a nation overnight. You have to build it brick by brick, and it will take time. And that's the real change na gusto natin makita.
Hindi talaga overnight, no?
Never yan makita sa overnight.
Yeah. Pero how did you right now parang in terms of MPUVs and e-vehicles, ikaw yung parang pioneer, right? So are there other players in the market?
Well, ngayon marami na, no? In fact, there's around 180,000 jeepneys in the Philippines na kailangan i-modernize. Out of the 180,000 jeepneys nationwide. But only 4,000 jeepneys have been modernized so far. So marami na rin gumagalaw ngayon. So when we started, no, coming from my background dun sa ejeepney project in Makati, I first nilapitan ko kagad dito yung isa sa pinakamalaking political party list at that time, Transport, si Juan Utak, which is Transport.
Yes, I remember.
Transport. So, sila yung tumutulong sa Transport. So, I presented to them, kay Atty. Vigor Mendoza, yung project namin sa ejeepney Makati. In fact, one of those people who helped me secure the franchise for the ejeepney operations in Makati was Congressman Homer Mercado of Utak. So, I presented to them. Ito yung programa ko, ito yung ginagawa namin, and we wanted to introduce it. So, sila naman na nag-introduce namin sa DOTR. Dinala kami sa DOTR, in-introduce kami sa iba-ibang transport groups, and that was a start. Nakita namin, in 2014, we were able to consolidate 394 jeepneys, traditional jeepneys, iba-ibang rota. And that was the first time, kung makikita mo, napakagandang tingnan dahil ito yung mga lumang jeepneys, iba-ibang personalities, iba-ibang owners ang operators ito. But we were able to consolidate them and operate them under a single dispatching system. Napakaganda ng tignan kasi nakita namin ito yung future.
Yeah. Ibig sabihin, with the political will and the help of the LGU, also of Congress, nabuo to. So, my next question would be, is there a specific law na that draws the roadmap for all of these things? Itong e-vehicles, itong modern PUVs. Can you tell us more about that?
Well, so, when we presented this to the government at that time, talagang uhaw na rin naman talagang gobyerno sa magkaroon ng isang major transport program. So in 2016, I was invited to participate in the technical working group for the jeepney modernization program of the government. So what I did was just to present to them, no, yung ginagawa namin sa ginagawa namin sa Makati and then sa Filinvest. But nakita nila yung merit ng mga programa. And so at that time, 2016, we were able to draft a new department order or memorandum circular. Ito yung tinatawag na Omnibus Franchising Guideline, which came out in 2017. Ito yung nagdidetalye na kailangan lahat ng jeepney, public transport in the Philippines have to modernize. At nag-set na rin ng standards ang bawat jeepney. Hindi na tulad dati na kung ano tsura ng jeepney, yun na yun. Ngayon, may standard ang jeepney. So, ang basihan ngayon ay yung Omnibus Franchising Guideline na in-issue ng DOTR and also signed by the DILG in 2017.
Okay. And then I think there's a new law, parang drawing the roadmap for the entire electric vehicle and modernization program.
Yes.
Ito yung is that right? Is this EVIDA?
Yes. So aside from the Omnibus Franchising Guideline, which basically giving the mandate to modernize the vehicles, no? Nagkaroon din ng EVIDA law, which was passed into law just last year, no? Just last year. And ang EVIDA, which is the Electric Vehicle Industrial Development Act, which was passed principally authored by Senator Gatchalian.
Okay.
May mga mandate din doon sa bagong EVIDA law. Primarily lahat ng yung fleet ng government, no? Lahat ng sasakyan ng government, whether it's PNP or MMDA or LGU, lahat yan 5% of their fleet should be converted to electric vehicles. It's one.
5%?
5%. So kahit si MMDA dapat yan mayroon siyang fleet of electric vehicles. Second, kailangan ang local government, when they issue a business permit for new buildings, kailangan yan yung building must incorporate a parking space exclusively for electric vehicles with charging stations. Okay. Third, selected gasoline stations are mandated to offer yung mga charging stations as well. And that's one of the reasons why ang dami na ngayong mga gas stations or fuel companies seriously looking into putting up their own charging stations in the gasoline stations. So maganda nangyayari ngayon. And then fourth is pagbibigay ng mga tax incentives sa mga importers and manufacturers of electric vehicles in the country. So maganda naman ang tinatakbo ngayon.
So the EVIDA law, di ba it mandates that there must be green routes?
Yes, yung pa pala.
LGUs, no?
Yes. So sa under the Omnibus Franchising Guideline kasi, no, for the jeepney modernization, may tinatawag silang LPTRP or the Local Public Transport Route Plan. And supposedly the local public transport route plan will be drafted by the local governments outside of Metro Manila. Within Metro Manila, the main responsibility of coming up with route plans will be the DOTR. Kasi sa sobrang complex ng road network and road system connections ng Metro Manila. So,
yes,
supposedly, ito namang EVIDA law mandates ito LPTRP na pag gumawa kayo ng local public transport route plan, 5% of that, you should also designate what you call the green route, no? Pag sinabi mong green route, hindi pwedeng takbuhan ito ng ibang sasakyan pampubliko na gumagamit ng diesel o fossil fuel. It should be an electric vehicle or an alternative fuel vehicle. So, mandated yan in each LGU, in each municipality and city, kailangan merong green route.
So the green route is ilang percent ng ano?
Wala silang sinasabing ilang percent, but there should be at least one green route designated by the local government.
Okay.
So malaking bagay yan, no? Kaya ngayon nagkakaroon ng shift ngayon. With this E22 law mandating the LGU to have electric vehicles in their fleet, to put up charging stations, and then itong green route. So ngayon, marami ngayong tao ang nagkakaroon ng interest ngayon pagdating sa electric vehicles. So I don't know kung chicken and egg, but you know, even large multinational companies, no, mga big car companies like Volvo and Porsche, lahat yan naglalabas ng mga electric vehicles. So yun na talagang future natin, no? We're going green, not because we wanted, no, not because fashionable, but we're going green because we need it. Kailangan na talaga. In terms of pollution and in terms of energy fuel security. Hindi naman bababa itong fuel price natin in the near future.
The way that government is doing for all those vehicles.
Well, I didn't get your question, Nato, but yung nangyayari ngayon sa electric vehicles is that it's very exciting. The future is very exciting for the electric vehicle industry, not only because of the new law that was recently passed by Congress, but also because there's a demand right now, no? And the demand is real. It's not something na parang lechong manok dati na naging kabuti because fashionable and then nawala bigla. This time, itong electric vehicles are here to stay. And we just need to have, one of the government plan is to ensure that the Philippines will be one of the manufacturing hubs in Asia for electric vehicles. And that is the reason why nilagay yung E22 law.
Do we have that capacity now? Tayo mag-manufacture?
Wishful thinking, no? Wishful thinking ng government, I think. Because, you know, whether you manufacture electric vehicles or you manufacture yung mga diesel or internal combustion engine vehicles, it's still the same. We don't have the structure. We don't have the infrastructure nor the technology to create and manufacture vehicles. Whether it's electric vehicles or an ICE vehicle or internal combustion engines, we don't have the capacity. But we do, meron tayong isang bagay na wala ang ibang bansa, no? Ang ibang bansa sa Thailand, andun lahat yung Ford, andun yung Toyota. Nawala ang Ford dito, umalis ang Nissan, nawalang Ford, lumipat sa Thailand. Because of Thailand has the infrastructure. Maganda yung infrastructure nila, maganda yung kanilang capacity, no? Suppliers nandun. Wala tayo nun. Pero there's something na wala ang Thailand na meron tayo. And that's the market.
The market.
How
many commuters ba?
Well, sa Metro Manila alone, ang Metro Manila alone nasa around 10 million na commuters every day. Ang MRT caters to around 1.2 million passengers per day. And that's the MRT. Pero ang jeepney market caters to around 8 million passengers per day. Mas malaki ang jeepney market kaysa MRT. Wow. So tingnan mo yung market, mas marami pa rin yung nagko-commute kaysa sa bumibili ng sasakyan.
Yes.
But in terms of demographics, no, we have a bigger population we have a young population and well, on the economic side, medyo tumataas yung income ng mga Filipino. Kaya
See
bumibili
it,
ng
you know.
sasakyan.
There's much potential for this industry.
Oo, I mean, the Philippines has the potential, no? We have the potential to be a manufacturing hub for the EV.
Right. Okay. There our do is siguro before we go into a break, siguro I have a question before we go that direction. No? Later we can discuss the deeper aspects of yung transport, etc., yung how it affects yung mga commuters. Pero meantime, what can you say is the most immediate solution? Itong problema natin sa fuel, 'di ba? Parang there's so much it's getting too expensive for fossil fuels. Although ano pa rin hindi naman siguro 100% mawawala. What do you think is in store for EVs or modern public utility vehicles within the next 5 years?
Well, tama ka, no, Nato. The prices of fuel will not go down immediately, no? And even if we wanted it,
Correct.
hindi ito mangyayari. Simply because the Philippines cannot produce fuel. But there's something that we can produce, and that's energy. So we can produce our energy that will power our transportation. So hindi nga natin kaya si OPEC kaya niya mag-dictate, no? 2 million barrels sa kanyang ika-cut down sa kanyang production, and this will result to an increase in the prices of fuel.
Okay.
So in the Philippines, transport, clean energy or green transport, as tulad ng agriculture, if you want to increase production in agriculture, ang isang common denominator is always energy. Increase energy, you increase production in agriculture. Increase energy, and then we can now come up with an electrified transport system that will cater to big mass market in the Philippines without relying dun sa mga fossil fuel. So ang laki ng bagay, no, na magandang energy mix natin. We can come up with our energy that will transform agriculture and transform our transport system in the Philippines. So malaking bagay yun.
Ito, we will go right into a short break. Then when we come back, let's discuss deeper yung mga issues about transport and then maybe recommendations for the transport system. So we will go right into a short break now and then babalik tayo. Okay.
Thank you. Sige.
All right. See you later. Thank you.
Juan Lu and his puppets face to face with special guests Makata Tawanan, Jess Box, and the Lunaria Marionette Show.
Salita. Alam mo, Tito Ando, kung wala ako, magsasalita ka mag-isa. Kung wala ako, wala kang masusuot. Kung wala ako, wala kang nakakain.
November 13, Sunday, 7 p.m. at the La Verdad Auditorium in Apalit, Pampanga. Buy your tickets now and see you soon, face to face.
Good evening. You're still watching Para sa Bayan here on TNC, but please don't forget to watch all our other shows here on TNC. The new channel is an online alternative new media platform of online shows for people on the go. Please watch all our shows as seen on the screen. Imagine having your own show, your own playlist, and your own content, but we make it easier for you. TNC aims to transform the lives of viewers through engaging, authentic, and original content. Our channel is a responsible global 24/7 platform that showcases the Filipino talent, global influencers, cultural intelligence, and ingenuity. Of course, don't forget to watch every Saturday 9 p.m. Para sa Bayan. You can watch us live or replay via Facebook or YouTube. Follow us on IG. Listen to us on Spotify and Apple Podcast. Just search hashtag TNC Now. Of course, for sponsorships, please email now at thenewchannel.com or send us a DM. Enjoy the life-changing shows because we make them all for you. All right. So again, we'll come back with our very special guest, no other than Mr. Yuri Sarmiento. Welcome back, Yuri. Grabe, bumabagal ang internet sa Pilipinas yata. So, at least we're back. Oo nga. So anyway, kanina we discussed a little about your journey from being salesman, and then animal feeds.
Reporter to businessman, to an inclusive business operations like ito, green transport natin.
Oo. Before nag-delve ka pa into different tracking, which is yung traditional, and you felt the pressure of course the fuel crisis na tuloy-tuloy, no? Sabi nga nila, the chaos is continuing. So hindi naman siya maybe way out, no? But we can see in electric vehicles and yung mga diesel engines ba ngayon, Euro 5 na ba?
Well, yung mga modern jeepneys ngayon na nakikita natin dito sa kalsada natin,
Yes.
And that's about 4,000 modern jeepneys nationwide right now. Ang basic natin diyan Euro 4 diesel engine.
Euro 4.
But Euro 4. But for this year, pumapasok na rin yung mga Euro 5. So in terms of air pollution, better na to compared with what we have in the last several years.
How far is that from the old one? Yung walang euro.
Yung mga walang euro, yung chamba-chamba,
Oh,
talagang yun talaga napaka-pollutive. No? Even before, we had testing do sa mga smoke emission testing. Yung mga
Yes.
traditional, yung mga 10 ppm ang ano niya nasa 10 particulates per molecule. So ang taas ng particulate matter doon sa mga traditional jeepneys.
talagang
So
marumi talaga.
makita mo naman kulay itim, no, ang usok.
Oo nga,
But
grabe.
itong mga Euro 4 natin, no, itong mga modern jeepneys natin, kahit Euro 4 yan, it doesn't necessarily mean it will continue to be low emission vehicle. Kailangan pa rin yan maintenance, no?
Yes,
If you don't
of course.
maintain your vehicle, wala rin, kahit Euro 4 yan, kahit gumamit ka ng clean fuel na Euro diesel, pag you don't maintain them, babagsak din yan sa smoke emission.
Yeah.
Unlike electric vehicles natin, no, ang electric vehicle talagang zero. Very clean.
Zero emission. No?
Zero emission.
So, I mean, it's just that maybe late, hindi naman siguro late ang Pilipinas, but I think the major manufacturers are already shifting also to electric, di ba?
Oh yes. Oh, I mean, hindi ang Philippines naman hindi naman late, no. We're late tayo siguro in terms of manufacturing because basically we don't have the manufacturing capability. Okay? But we're not late in terms of adopting electric vehicles as a form of transport dito sa Pilipinas. In fact, isa nga tayo sa mga nauuna no, public transport. Tayo nagkaroon ng mga electric vehicles na ginawa natin for public transport. Aside from the electric jeepneys, meron tayong mga electric tricycles. So marami rin ngayon yan. In 2017, merong 3,000 electric tricycles that were distributed and funded by ADB. No? So ang dami yan. So in terms of adaptation, hindi tayo huli.
Hindi naman tayo nahuhuli. Mabilis pa tayo in terms of other countries, no? But
yes,
you mentioned, siguro gusto kong i-connect yung sinabi mong yan, with the market. You're saying na we have something that other countries don't have, which is the market. And alam mo, napakalaking ingredient niyan, Yuri, yung transport to national development. Even, I think, yung isang kasamahan namin dati sa campaign, si Cesar Chavez, is now USEC for Rails. So PNR. I mean, may direction din ng gobyerno na palakasin yung railway system. In fact, I remember nang nagkwekwentuhan kami before sa airport ni Congressman Sarmiento, he was telling me about the possibility of really connecting the entire country by land. Sabihin, bridges, no? Bridges connecting Luzon to Mindanao. And that's very interesting because ang daming ingredients for nation sa side ng power and fuel and transport. Ang laki. So you need energy to fuel an economy. You need people, which is we have a very huge labor force. Ang problema lang natin yung skills and other aspects. And then transport. Because kaya nga no matter how it is criticized, yung face-to-face ng DepEd to really mandate the kids and the those who are the learners from college also to really have face-to-face. Kasi talagang it will impact the economy, di ba? Mamimili sila ng, sasakay sila. Naturally, merong livelihood yung mga tricycles, jeepneys, and a lot of other people. Plus, the transport system, once it's made efficient, ang laki ng losses natin, diba? Mga 3.5 billion yata before from traffic.
Yes.
only because it's all concentrated in the city centers. But if we're able to distribute that and probably, ayan nga, electric vehicles and modern public utility vehicles, di ba ang laking impact niyan? What do you think?
Oo, I mean, tama ka, no? Napakalaking impact, no? In fact, itong pagpasok ng mga estudyante uli, pagbalik ng mga estudyante uli sa eskwelahan, napakalaking bagay nito, no? In terms of
Yes.
revenues na ma-add sa mga public transport operators. Pero yung opportunity meron ding kaakibat na, well, problema. Nung
Yes.
nagkaroon ng COVID pandemic lockdown, 2 taon hindi pumapasok mga estudyante sa eskwelahan, no? So ano nangyari? Around 8,000 na school bus services operators naglaho. Naglaho yan,
Yes.
nasira yung mga sasakyan. Hindi na-maintain, no? At ngayon nag-start uli, pumapasok uli yung mga ibang estudyante. Pero pag pumasok ang mga estudyante ngayon sa eskwelahan, 3 times a week lang, no? Tapos 2 araw naka-online. Pero ang singil ng mga school bus operators, the same amount, no? May 7,000 pa nga sa isang buwan. Pero kung papasok ng anak mo 3 beses ang araw, hindi mo pa rin kukunin eh. So ano nangyayari? Nawala ang market ngayon ng school bus operators. Sira ang negosyo nila. So pag magdagsaan ulit itong mga estudyante natin, ano sasakyan nila? Problema yan. So,
Tama.
may mga kayakibat
So,
yan.
you know, yung workforce, di ba?
Yes.
Yung workforce natin.
Correct. I mean, kahit ngayon, yung BPOs natin,
So,
hindi naman lahat bumabay sa office. So, we have to siguro accept nagbagong mundo natin, no? At dahil nagbagong mundo natin, we also have to change our way of thinking na ang negosyo ko noon ay negosyo ko pa rin ngayon. Hindi na, nagbago na eh. Okay? So, kailangan ba i-dictate ko ngayon sa mga BPO workers na bumalik para lang mabuhay ang public transport at magkaroon ng positive impact sa mga restaurants, no? Hindi lang public transport but restaurants,
right.
Retail. Maganda 'yon.
Oo.
Pero hindi na yun yung pananaw ng BPO workers eh. Ayaw na nga lang bumalik eh. Because it's more efficient for them to work sa bahay nila kaysa magpunta sila sa mga offices kung saan sila magtatrabaho. So, should we enforce this on them? Or tayo na nasa negosyo ng public transport and retail trade ang mag-adjust kasi nagbago eh. Nagbago yung market. And yun ang kinaganda ng COVID, no? If there's something that you have to take away from this experience is that we all have to change, no? At some point, we all have to be more efficient. Okay? This pandemic has forced everyone to change their mindset and to be more efficient and to be more adaptive of what's coming in. Bago mundo, we also have to change. And in fact, kaya ang transport must also be able to change, make this adaptation from a regime or vehicles that are powered by internal combustion engines to a more clean, green, sustainable electric vehicles. Bago-bago.
Oo. Ano yan eh? Kasi parang the way I see it, siguro my next question would be, how do you see it? No? How do you see this industry in the next 5 years? Kasi definitely, the Shells of this world, the fuel companies of this world will also need to adapt, no? And then tayo din as a nation trying to become a first world country, parang kailangan din mag adapt tayo sa change. So how do you see it na the transport system or the green transport system can really move the country forward given itong mga conditions natin ngayon na nangyayari?
Well, ang kinaganda nito Nato, no? In the last few months after the EVIDA law was passed, ang dami kong kausap ng mga oil companies, you'll be surprised. Ang daming oil companies ngayon seriously looking into charging stations. Hindi lang Shell to, no? In fact, ang naunang oil company na nagtayo ng charging station was Unioil. And then sinundan ito ng Shell. But I'm telling you, no, ang dami ngayon mga oil companies now talking with me, and in fact, siguro in a couple of weeks, we will be signing an agreement with them kasi gusto nila mag-charging stations and also looking into operations of electric vehicles. Ganyan na maging adaptive ang mga industries. Not because they wanted, again, but because the market is changing. As we mentioned earlier, no? Andiyan yung Toyota Prius, andiyan na si BYD, no? Andiyan na si Nissan Leaf. Paparating na ito. At nag-announce si Volvo, by 2030, lahat ng kanyang vehicles puro electric. So nagbabago. Nagbago.
Vehicles niya.
It's also have to change.
Yeah. So, in terms of like, kumbaga, ang impact nito sa grassroots, kasi tinitignan ko, of course, I go around a lot. I go to the provinces and nakikita ko, for example, I'll give you an example, Bulacan. Daming tricycle. Tapos, yung mga jeepney routes are not as pervasive. So, ang nangyayari, people are going to the tricycles to ferry them medyo longer distances, mga 1 kilometer, 2 kilometers, 3 kilometers. And they're charging talagang exuberant transport fees, no? Yes. And that to me also hurts. While it helps them, it hurts the commuting public. Siyempre, estudyante, kunyari, nagmamadali, walang jeep na available. Ang allowance na 200, ang tricycle 150, 130, 120, di ba? Di ubus na yung allowance niya. Yung mga ganun ba? So, these are just, what I'm saying is what's happening on the ground. Of course, on an NCR level, maraming available na sasakyan. Pero
tama ka
going towards the...
You're right, no? Ito yung mga realities on the ground. And right. This will not be resolved overnight. As long as yung fundamental natin will remain, the problems will still be the same. Yung mga tricycles natin are all under the LGUs, di ba? Ayan ay pinamumunuan ng LGU, ang pinibigay ng LGU. So, yes. Itong mga tricycles natin, whether we admit it or not, has become political tool, di ba? I mean,
true.
Both you and I know ang tricycle has become a tool of the LGUs. Kaya ang mahal, walang makapag-regulate. Bangga ito sa mga jeepney. What if itong tricycle will be transferred yung pag-regulate under the LTFRB? Then pwede, no? But LTFRB by itself right now ay undermanned. No? Hindi rin capable hindi rin capable to regulate 1.2 million tricycles. So, maraming problema, pero lahat naman ng problema nakikita natin ngayon dito ay kaya solusyonan. Isa-isa lang, konti-konti, pa isa-isa. Yeah. So, hindi lang yung mga ganyang policy reforms that we need, no? In terms of tricycle regulations and jeepney regulations. But if you really want to go to electric vehicles in the next 5 years, we also have to come up with policies in terms of charging stations. I've attended an investors summit in Quezon City, and they were all talking about building charging stations. So one of those things that I mentioned in that summit is that anong klaseng charging station? I mean, in Europe, they're using continuous charging system, CCS. In parteng ng Japan and Korea, they're using CHAdeMO. No? If you go to China, then kanya-kanyang charging system yan. So sa Philippines, ano station yung tatayo natin? I mean, one guy said that build and they shall come. Hindi pwede yun. Kung using Tesla, hindi charger ng Porsche. Iba yun. Charging system. So, the policies has to be there, no? Yung eVTOL law is correct. It gave us it pointed us to the right direction, but more policy reforms are needed. Policy direction has to be very clear in terms of anong technology ang gagamitin natin, anong direksyon, gano'ng kabilis.
Correct.
So, government has to be here.
Yeah. I remember I watched this series on Netflix, no. It's called Long Way Up. So si Long Way Up nag ano sila, patapos na tayo. Pero kwento ko lang. So they used sorry, wala naman tayo ni-endorse na brand. Pero sila Ewan McGregor, yung si Obi-Wan Kenobi, may kapartner siya. Nagmotor sila from South America going paakyat papunta sa US. And they used electric BMW motorcycles. Ang naging problema talaga nila was charging stations. Although logistically, plan out na nila, dito tayo mag-charge. Hindi pala ganun kadali yun. Going intercontinental kasi yung journey nila on electrics, big bike to na electric. So ang laki rin ng konsumo. So anyways, at the end of the day, I think that's a foreshadowing of where we should go. Basically, we need to identify the key routes. Of course, filling stations. Kasi if you will mainstream electric vehicles at the end of the day, which is we should mainstream talaga. Parang kasi ang layo ng difference, tapos yung emissions, 'di ba, Yuri? Parang hindi na ang tawag dito. It makes sense. It makes total sense to change, shift.
Tama.
Now, ito ngayon yung question ko siguro sa iyo, Yuri. If you were government, if you were Bongbong Marcos, or if you were DOTR secretary, how do you see electric vehicles, modern public utility vehicles changing the face of yung development? Parang kasi ako nakikita ko, I don't think it should be NCR centric or highly urbanized city centric. It really has to, maging pervasive para maging effective. But in your opinion, we're down to our last 4 minutes, but I'll give you siguro what do you think we should do? If you were to advise the president, if you were to advise the OTR, what do you think is the direction we should take?
Well, swerte naman ako, no? Hindi ako naging advisor ng gobyerno. Dahil kung maging advisor ng gobyerno ngayon, napakahirap, no?
Yes.
Napaka-complicated, complex ang problema. Not only because of the economics behind it, but also because of the politics, no? In terms of rolling out electric vehicles in the country in the next 5 years, several things have to first happen. One are the policy reforms for charging stations. We should come up with the standard ano bang charging system gagamitin natin, no? And I'm working right now with the United Nations Industrial Development Organization, or UNIDO, together with the UP PAF Foundation, to come up with a standard. Anong charging system gagamitin natin para sa electric vehicles natin? Second, we have to strengthen the PUVMP because the electric vehicles has to piggyback on the PUVMP or the jeepney modernization. We have to start somewhere, and by piggybacking on the jeepney modernization, will ensure that yung ating public transport, at least, no, will be electrified. So yung cost of fuel nila, yung cost of operations nila will be down. Okay? So that's second. Third, we have to strengthen our manufacturing capability, no? Right now, lahat ng electric jeepneys natin are being imported from other countries. Nag-assemble lang tayo rito. But we have other, we have components here in the Philippines that we can use. Kailangan lang natin ng maayos na gobyerno na magbibigay ng policy directions and reforms and support dito sa mga manufacturers natin. Kaya naman natin matrabaho, gawin, pero hindi tayo andito para gumawa ng madali. As I said, para sa bayan,
Correct.
mahirap ang building, matagal gawin. So everyone has to pitch in and help one another. Pero isang direction lang dapat. And that direction has to be very, very clear. No? And that direction must come from the government. Right or wrong, susunod tayo.
Okay. Nako, Yuri, very informative, ano? I mean, I'm glad I met you and we were able to talk and discuss about the transport system kasi nakikita ko to as really a very big component of national development, lalo na local development. So, at the end of the day, we can make so many policies pero people's lives are at stake eh. So kung maayos natin to, dumami yung mga tricycle drivers, bumaba cost nila, it will also redound to the benefit of the riding public. And
Tsaka na to, hindi
diba?
reforms, hindi lang policy. Policy is one thing,
Yes.
and implementation is another thing. Totally different. So the
Correct.
DOTR LTFRB has to be in good terms. Policy will be DOTR, LTFRB will be implementation. If you don't implement good policies, then baliwala yun.
Correct. And then down to the LGU pa. Down to the TODA.
Down to the TODA.
Yun. On behalf of the viewers of Para sa Bayan, Yuri, napakaiksi ng panahon natin. No? I'm so sorry. We should have mga 2 hours to discuss, even 3 hours just to discuss transport. But that's all the time we have. I'd like to thank you on behalf of the staff and crew of Para sa Bayan and the new channel for joining us in this show. I'd like to thank, of course, our friends, Eli Laura Therapy and Jason Isaac for helping TNC. And that's all the time we have now, viewers. We'd like to greet everyone. Good evening. God bless you all. Don't miss the next one. God bless you.
Thank you, Nato. Thank you sa lahat.